Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the attitude of professionals in involving parents in IEP and IFSC. Attitude is everything. The term attitude means that a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. An attitude is an evaluation of an attitude object, ranging from extremely negative to extremely positive. Most contemporary perspectives on attitudes also permit that people can also be conflicted or hesitate toward an object by simultaneously holding both positive and negative attitudes toward the same object. Attitudes can guide encoding information, attention, and behaviors, even if the individual is pursuing unrelated goals. The attitude of a person is determined by psychological factors like ideas, values, beliefs, perceptions. All these have a complex role in determining a person's attitude. Values or ideas guiding principles in one's life or overarching goals that people strive to obtain. Beliefs or cognitions about the world, subjective probabilities that an object has a particular attribute or that an action will lead to a particular outcome. Family play a significant role in the primary stage of attitudes held by individuals. Initially, a person develops certain attitudes from his parents, brother, sister, and elders in the family. There is a high degree of relationship between parent and children in attitudes found in them. Societies play an important role in formatting the attitudes of an individual. The culture, the tradition, the language influence a person's attitudes. Society, tradition, and the culture teach individuals what is and what is not acceptable. Societies play an important role in formatting the attitude of an individual. The culture, the tradition, the language influence a person's attitudes. Society, tradition, and the culture teach individuals what is and what is not acceptable. Disability is variously viewed as a tragedy, a disgrace, shameful, the result of sin, and a punishment from God. People with disabilities are repeatedly seen as objects of pity, which produce guilt feelings in their family members and associates. They are frequently viewed as a burden to others, to their family, to themselves, and to society. They are continually perceived to be useless and to behave in inappropriate ways. The answer is segregation and discrimination. If the person with a disability is a woman, it is even worse. Having a differently able child in a family is a major cause of stress and has an impact on the health and well-being of the entire family. Family support plays a very important role in overall development of children with disabilities. Parents are expected and encouraged to play a central role in the early intervention process. While involving parents seems like a logical, natural thing to do, forming parent-professional partnership has not always proven to be an easy and simple process. The satisfaction of parents and their family members of children with disabilities will increase and leading to a meaningful relationship between families and professionals. Parents will make more appropriate and effective use of professionals' expertise and early support services. The successful education of children with special educational needs is dependent upon the full involvement of their parents. Indeed, unless the parents are seen as equal partners in the educational process. In 2004, parents and pediatricians together project stated that parental information and their support will provide details about their child. Such information is more helpful in diagnosis part of child with a disability in early stage. Programs with high rates of family involvement assume that parents wanted to be involved with their children and were prevented from doing so by lack of knowledge or obstacles outside of their control. Over the past decade, parental involvement in the special education process has been an important topic for many researchers. The Individuals with Disability Education Act idea PL 101 to 476 in 1990 both recognize familial involvement and family professional collaboration as indispensable to developing individualized family service plan, that is IFSPS, and individualized educational program, that is IEP. Individuals with Disability Education Improvement Act in 2004 further improved parents' roles and increased their opportunities for participating in their children's education as a member of the IEP team. So, programs or agency who are serving for students with a differently able should conduct individual educational plan, that is IEP, meeting and an individual family service plan meeting in their organization. Parental participation in these plans is mandatory. Next, we are going to discuss about what is individual educational plan or individualized educational program. The individualized educational program, also called IEP, it is in a document that is developed for each child who needs special education. The IEP is created through a team effort reviewed periodically. The IEP is intended to help children reach educational goals more easily than they otherwise would. Next, we are going to discuss about the IEP team members. The members of the multidisciplinary team who write child's IEP include parents, general education teachers, special education teacher, an individual who can interpret the result, a representative of the school system, individuals with knowledge or special expertise about the child, representatives from the transition service agencies. Before an IEP can be written, child must be eligible for special education. A multidisciplinary team must determine that he or she is a child with a disability and he or she requires special education and related services to benefit from the general education program. The IEP is a file that is designed to meet the child's unique educational needs. It is not an agreement, but it does secure the necessary supports and services that are agreed upon and written for the child. The IEP must contain information such as present level of educational performance, goals, special education and related services. IEP must include a description of how the child's progress toward the annual goals and that will be measured, and when periodic reports on the progress the child is making toward annual goals will be provided. For an example, at the same time, report cards are issued for all students. Individualized Family Service Plan, that is IFSP. An IFSP is both a process goes through and documents the team of specialists develop to assist the child. What is IFSP? The IFSP is a written treatment plan that maps out the early intervention services of child will receive as well as how and when these services will be administered. It details of child's current level of functioning, specific needs and goals for treatment. The IFSP takes a family-based approach to services due to the central concept that supporting a child's family lends itself to supporting the child. This means that the IFSP is developed with the input from the child's entire family and it includes features that are designed to support the entire family. It includes such as an individualized family service plan is both the process and a document. An IFSP is provided if the child is found eligible for early intervention services. An IFSC can help infant develop to her fullest potential. The difference between an IFSP and an IEP. An IFSP is a plan that guides and support our efforts to boost our child's development up to age 3. An individualized educational program, IEP, on the other hand, is a plan for special education and related services for children ages 3 to 21. The IFSP should include a statement of the child's current levels of development across 5 domains, that is physical, cognitive, language and speech, psychosocial and self-help. A statement of related family strengths and needs. A statement of outcomes expected for child and family. A statement of needed yearly intervention services, including use of assistive technology when appropriate. Projected dates for initial of services and expected length of services. Name of service coordinator. The steps to be included for transition to preschool services. Next, we are going to discuss about the importance of IFSP. Think of the IFSP as a foundation and roadmap for our family's involvement with the early intervention services. It provides the information on present levels of development of the child. It clearly lays out what services our child should receive and what results and the team hope to achieve for our child. The IFSP takes into account our child's present level of functioning and needs. It focuses on what is the need as a family to best support their child. That is, what are your priorities for your child and your family, and what are your concerns and what are your resources. The next is the IFSP builds on the individual strength of each family member. Together, this all helps personalize the plan for their family. Then, the IFSP gives the chances for receiving other services. The team reviews the IFSP every 6 months and must update it at least once in a year. It will help for the progressions of the child's promotion. The team reviews child's progress and family situation together. This can help determine whether we need to make any changes in goals or other aspects of IFSP. The IFSP team. The IFSC team members such as parents, other family members, an advocate from outside the family, a service coordinator who helps put the IFSP into action, professionals directly involved in evaluations or assessment of child's needs, those who will provide early intervention services for child or family. Depending on child's needs, the IFSP team might include specialists such as medical practitioner, therapist, child development specialist, social worker. The IFSP is a written plan of the parent professional team that will be used to generate specific services for a child and his or her family. The IFSP is also one way of evaluating the progress a child has made. The IFSP should be evaluated once in a year and reviewed at least every 6 months. As children change and develop rapidly during ages birth to 3 years, more frequent review of the IFSP is recommended. Next, we are going to discuss about the attitude of professionals in involving parents in IEP and IFSP. Build relationship. The involvement of parent may build relationship among professional, which relationship are built is through showing the family respect in action as well as in name. The main purpose of the IEP is to be ensuring the opportunity of the parent to get an idea about the teacher who is handling the child and her goals and concern for her child. The next one is equal partners. A fundamental provision of the amendments to IDEA requires school professionals to involve parents of students with disabilities in the educational decision making process and to incorporate parents' knowledge of their children in the planning and designing of their children's educational services. Under these amendments, parents have become equal partners with the school professionals when deciding the educational issues on behalf of their children. Since those legislative changes, a mounting body of literature has emphasized the positive impact of parents' involvement on children's success in school and proposed diverse strategies to promote and facilitate the collaboration between families and educational professionals. The next one is passive parent. In particular, parents from culturally and linguistically diverse background are typically not actively involved in the various components of IEPs, such as evaluation, developing IEP goals, and arranging intervention services related to the child's disability, regardless of their attendance in the IEP conferences. Some of the critical factors that hindrance to efficient parental participation in the educational process. Families' acculturations level, limited English proficiency, the difference in values and attitudes toward disability, communication style different from mainstream families, and a lack of knowledge about the IEP process and the school infrastructure adversely affect the level of participation of parents who are culturally and linguistically diverse have been identified. The next one is negative perception. Professional educators' attitudes or perceptions which may establish potential barrier to family participation, that is, they stereotype or blame the parent, or they deny parental expertise and knowledge about the child, and they are insensitive to religious belief, family tradition, and cultural diversity, and they withhold information and use educational jargon and terminology about placement and programming options. The next one is decision makers. Many parents of children with a disability want to make a plans for the future care and support their child will need once they become an adult. The guardianship and recognizes the adults who are not capable of making recent decisions for themselves may need additional support and assistance, not only to ensure their quality of life is maintained, but also to protect them from the risk of neglect, exploitation, and abuse. The Act enables a substitute decision maker to be appointed to make decisions in the best interest of an adult with a decision making disability. Specifically, the ideal of parental equal rights mandated by the laws suggests equity, individual rights, and freedom of choices, whereas the special education system, which is founded on rationalism, seems to require the objective and scientifically based knowledge of professionals. For this reason, professional knowledge and suggestions are regarded as more reliable and valuable sources than parent subjective and anecdotal descriptions in the decision making process. To conclude, an IFSP revolves around the family since it is only constant a child has in their life. An IEP strictly revolves around the student because it is a child's education. Therefore, the goals within IFSP are targeted towards the family versus and the goal within an IEP, which are targeted specifically toward the student. An IFSP includes the location for natural environments such as home, park, child care, and gym classes. It will create opportunities for learning interventions in everyday routines and day-to-day activities. An IEP only includes formal, contrived environment such as school. Therefore, the professional, those who are working for children with disabilities, must understand the attitude of the parents and make use of their abilities for the promotion of child's life. Thank you.